want to tell you something I learned just the other day that really clarified how I think about management, and specifically how I think about safety management. Now, if you're a safety manager, hear me out, because I think this will give you a whole new perspective on what it means to do a good job. Let's check it out. Hey, before we get started with the video, I wanted to take a quick time out and tell you how you can download a free OSHA audit checklist. Simply go to my website, Help with OSHA. You can click right there on the homepage and you can download a free OSHA audit checklist. This is the best way to prepare you and your team for an unexpected OSHA inspection. So the other day, I heard somebody explaining the way the highway system works. And this is not a boring story. It's a very quick story, but my 15-year-old is just got his learner's permit and he's driving, and it's a little terrifying as a dad. He's a good driver. He's responsible. He's very thoughtful in what he does, but there's a lot of nuts out there. There's a lot of crazy people out there driving. And so it makes me just kind of nervous when he gets out on the road. And I heard somebody explain the whole highway system, right? The roads, the stop signs, the rules of the road, what we learned and how we learn to drive. Well, when you think of it, the policemen that pull you over, they're not in charge. Who's in charge? The rules are in charge. The rules of the road are in charge. And when you get a driver's license, you passed a test, you've agreed to a social contract that you are going to follow the rules of the road. You're going to learn them, you're going to know them, you're going to love them. And if you get caught speeding, that cop, he didn't make up the rule. He's just enforcing it. He's holding you accountable. Now, we don't like to see the blue lights in our mirror, right? I was sharing this on a video a little earlier. The way that we don't want to be a safety cop. We don't want to be the safety police that's going around trying to catch people doing the wrong thing. And really, you have to change your thinking. You see, a company, an organization has a leadership team. And that leadership team sets the expectation for what safety is going to be. Now, they're going to use industry standards. They're going to have OSHA requirements, right? And the OSHA requirements are kind of the lower level. Everybody's got to do them, so we're going to meet the OSHA requirements. But then there's going to be some company-specific stuff, and that's going to be just, you know what? We're going to do this every time because we feel like this is what's going to be best for our company and our people. And so we have a safety culture that develops in a company. And that includes the rules. These are the rules that we agree to follow. When we bring in a brand new employee and we put that person through orientation, we show them, hey, this is where you're going to park. This is where you're going to clock in. Here's what your insurance looks like, yada, yada, yada. By the way, here's a safety manual, right? We're going to sign off. We're going to make sure that we do lockout, tag out. It's important that we communicate what the rules of the organization are. So just to kind of piece this out, the first thing we do as an organization, and you probably weren't even there when this happened, but they set the expectation, they set the rules, and they say these are going to be our rules for safety. And then we have to communicate the rules. So if you think of it in terms of written programs, you have written safety programs, you have policies, you have procedures. These are the rules that as an organization, we've all agreed to follow. We're working there, we're getting a paycheck, we're agreeing to follow these rules. Now, they need to be communicated. We can't just assume people come in knowing the rules, right? They don't know our culture. They came from somewhere completely different, doing a different job. So training and communication is so important. And that's why it's really important for a safety manager to really have the mind of a teacher, right? To have the spirit of a teacher, to be able to communicate, to be able to train, to be able to work with people so they understand what they should be doing. We got the rules, we got the communication, and then the third piece, this is the piece where we need to hold people accountable. And the best way we hold people accountable isn't by trying to catch them doing the wrong thing. We want to actually catch them doing the right thing, give them a pat on the back, give them some positive reinforcement. Now, if we catch them doing the wrong thing, we're not giving them a pat on the back. We're going to make sure that we point them back to what they should be doing. We want to be firm, but we want to point them back in a gentle manner so that they understand, hey, this is the expectation. You're down here, we're up here. We got to get you up here to where the expectation is. And that person might say, well, I'm down here because I never got the PPE I needed. I never got the training I needed. I don't have the tools I need. That's when we need to have, again, the heart of a teacher, the mind of a teacher. How do we get that person from down here up here to our expectations? So don't be a safety police officer. Be a teacher. Be somebody that can communicate. Now, a good teacher is not everyone's best friend. You don't have to be everyone's best friend, right? A great manager isn't everyone's best friend. But what they do is they clarify the expectations, they communicate the expectations, and then they hold people accountable to the expectations. So one takeaway from this video is make sure that you can clarify with your team what are the safety expectations that we have day in and day out. What is specific to your culture? It should be pretty obvious we're not supposed to block fire extinguishers. That should be pretty obvious, right? If we're working on that, we need to be working on some other things. We want to make sure that everyone understands we come to work to get the job done, but we expect everyone to go home safe. No one should get hurt at work. So with that in mind, think about this. Think about how you're not in charge. You're not in charge. That's a good thing. The rules are in charge. And one last note I'll say, if you feel like the rules are broken, then change the rules. But it's not you. You're not in charge. You're not changing the rules. You're bringing it to the leadership and you're saying, hey, this is a broken rule. We need to fix it. If you have broken rules, fix them. But ultimately, the rules are what help you manage the people. So you want clear rules that everyone can agree to and everyone can follow. And I'm not saying it's easy, but trust me, it's a lot better than trying to be a police officer running around and smacking everybody on the wrist and trying to get them to do the right thing. Until we talk again, do everything you can to keep the people you work with safe, because no one should get hurt at work.